What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 340.1, the Fever Report with John Robertson and Michelle Garman, and this week, special guest Mike Hutsell to talk about the Fever's 107-101 win over Phoenix on Wednesday evening. But most of this podcast is spent talking about the news of the week in the WNBA and the fact that the WNBA has no sense of humor. Thankfully, the Fever have not been a part of that. For the most part, they have stayed out of the nonsense, but we had to talk about it. It was the big national news, and we brought in secret big WNBA star Mike Hutsell with his opinions and his sense of humor. Very funny. A couple things I need to say before this podcast that I wouldn't normally need to say. Number one, this podcast is very adult, has a lot of adult content. I don't think it has any bad language, but we speak on a lot of adult subjects. Number two, I say this a lot. Anything that was said and made it through the editing process is our opinion. We think it was fine to broadcast, and we stand by it. We will never apologize for our opinions. That really needed to be said before that one. Also, a lot did end up on the cutting room floor on this one, so please enjoy.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Welcome, Fever fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and our reaction to the Indiana Fever's 107-101 victory over the Phoenix Mercury. But more than that, we want to talk about the latest WNBA news. So we have not only John Robertson here with us, our Fever guy, Michelle Garman, Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader Sports Editor. We also have our guest, secret WNBA fan Mike Hutsell, to talk about the latest news of the WNBA. But first, John, another big win for the Fever without Caitlin Clark, and those are important.
Yeah, it's great to see the Fever put a good game together. They started off, I'd say, a little slow against Phoenix, and Phoenix is a strong team. There was some animosity you could see going on between, DeWanna Bonner and her, partner, Alyssa Thomas. They were interacting with the fans in a bunch of crazy ways. So, there was a little extra, more than just the game on the line tonight. But Fever put together a good run in the second quarter. Aari McDonald went off for 25, 26 points.
What a night for her.
She hurt the first three of the game for the Fever because they couldn't buy a basket outside the arc for the first, more than half of the first quarter, and Aari knocked down the very first one.
I think there's a couple really big takeaways from this game. Aari having a great game, it definitely deserves to be mentioned, and that's awesome. Shout out to her. I think that it's really good to note that even though Kelsey Mitchell had a quiet night, that doesn't necessarily take away anything from Kelsey Mitchell. It just shows that the Fever are going to find ways to win and have other talent to back her up when she's having a down night, or whoever's having a down night, the rest of the team's going to pick them up. So Kelsey's been like the scoring champion and carrying this team on her back for since before All-Star break. But
no doubt,
she had a down night, which again, totally fine. But the team has the depth to support her, and that's a great sign for the team.
It really is. And Aaliyah Boston tonight, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 6 for 11. We kind of expect that from her. What I think was huge was Dantas 12 points and Bibby 10 points. We've been talking about depth, and if they're good, this team could be a championship contender.
No, I absolutely agree with that on the depth. I don't want to gloss over the fact that Boston's defense on AT is pretty much what shut down Phoenix. So while her points and stuff were impressive, her defense really was the highlight of Boston's game. But you're absolutely right on the depth. Bibby, what a pickup from Bibby, right? I hope they sign her for the rest of the season once the 7 days up.
They said Bibby said that she just now recovered from her jet lag. That was because they were saying, well, how hard is it to come in, to a new situation and learn the offense and everything? She had said her biggest adjustment was jet lag, and she finally felt like she had, had overcome that.
She's looked like it's only 2 games, and she hasn't really met with the team a ton and practiced probably a ton, but she looks like she can add a lot of value to the team, so I hope they sign her and keep her for the season. And I do agree, Greg, that if everybody plays up to their potential, they have the opportunity to make a championship run.
Yeah, you touched on Boston's defense a little earlier. It really was. I mean, the Phoenix Mercury, they led double digits for quite a bit of that first quarter, 10 up to 12 and everything. And Alyssa Thomas was just kind of doing everything, having her way, assisting, handling the ball on the boards. And Stephanie White, in the second quarter, decided to flip and put Boston on her. Howard and Cunningham were kind of guarding her in the first quarter. They switched to Boston, and all of a sudden, the Mercury started making turnovers because Boston is big enough and physical enough she can handle her. And Aaliyah's defense has improved so much that lateral movement, she could contain and handle Thomas's driving ability. She just didn't give her any room, and that picked up. And your girl, Lexi Hall, along with Aari McDonald, they just did great jobs of creating deflections. And Hall had a couple really nice steals that led to a couple transition baskets in the second quarter to help get the Fever on a roll.
That's something you can count on from her every night. Like, she may not show up on the score and the box score necessarily, but she's going to have a defensive player too that leads to points on the other end from somebody. Like, you're just guaranteed to get that from Lexi. So she fouled out tonight.
Before we get to the WNBA news and talk to Mike Hutsell, the reason we brought him on, just want to point out that Kelsey Mitchell had 8 points, Natasha Howard 6, and Sydney Colson had a big 8 points off the bench, and she might come up in our later discussion.
Yeah, I mean,
because she's hilarious.
Oh, she is. She's super funny. Like she made some jokes during the warm-ups the other day. It may have been today. Sophie was making a joke or whatever. Sid told her to shut up or something. It was hilarious. You got to watch some of these videos of the practices because Sydney is hilarious.
Again, you talked on Dantas earlier too, Greg, and we talked the other day about the Fever bench, how key they could be in scoring production, and they were tremendous. I mean, the Fever bench was really good tonight. Dantas was really good, offensively. Bibby, Colson knocked down a couple big threes and stuff, and if the Fever can get this and that kind of production from their bench, they're going to hold their own, and they will. I firmly believe they'll be in the playoffs without Caitlin. I mean, I don't think they have to have her to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but she's coming back. She's coming back.
Oh, no, she is. I'm just saying I don't think they have to have her to make it.
Who? Can't believe her name's barely come up so far.
Well, I know
John,
because it doesn't need to.
Absolutely. Hey, John, I want you to put this delicately so Mike Hutsell can come in behind you and wreck it all. I would probably put this too bluntly. Tell us about the news of the week in the WNBA.
Well, I mean, there's the one that you guys really want to talk about, but I really think that in the bigger picture, we have to talk about both of the ridiculous events that happened in the WNBA this week. We first have to talk about Kalia Copper's hairpiece falling off in the middle of a game, yes. And so they stop the game for her to go fix it, and they kick out a couple of fans for laughing about it, which
That's
I think
the ridiculous part. That's what I'm here to talk about, John.
Okay, fair. So that, to me, there's two parts of this that are both ridiculous. One, they paused the whole game for her to fix it. Like, sure, it's embarrassing. Let her go fix it. But don't stop the game for that. You would never see them stop a game for an injury in NBA or any other league. So losing your hairpiece, I don't think is worth stoppage of a game. The second of all, yeah, it's embarrassing. You're gonna laugh about it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Come on.
So the fact that you're gonna kick fans out for laughing about it is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So that
it is.
But yeah, we stopped the whole professional game for this. You can't just stop the action, sub somebody out.
And that's not the worst thing about it.
No, kicking the fans out's the worst thing about it.
Kicking the fans out it's the no sense of humor league. And let's bring Mike Hutsell in now to talk about the rest. And I just want to tell everybody that this podcast is probably going to get adult very soon.
Are you guys just trying to get me canceled or something? Like, yes. Of all episodes, this is the one you bring me into. This is the one that you. Hey, let's call Mike for the phallics that was thrown onto the court discussion. It may have been a microphone. We don't really know what it was. I mean, let's.
No, we know what it was. I mean, the camera zoomed clear on him.
Yes.
So let's. I guess here. Let's just say that in Atlanta, it was the Seattle versus Atlanta game, right? I think it was Seattle.
Was it Seattle?
No, who was it? No.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Seattle because of the color of the object.
I'm watching live, so he's the expert.
An object was thrown on the court. It was, let's just say, it was a adult toy. We'll go with it. It was an adult toy.
A big one.
Sure, I don't know. It looked average to me.
I was going to say, you seem to know an awful lot, Greg. I don't know what qualifies as big.
So it was thrown on the.
It was above average size, according to Greg.
If you watch the replay, you could see it. If you watch the replay, you could see this lime green thing fly in from the baseline as the play's going on. A couple of the players look at the refs like, are we going to have stoppage? And they don't stop the game, so they finish the play. Ball goes out of bounds. And then the camera just zooms right on this like giant lime green neon phallic object underneath one of the chairs.
At least the producer has a sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't think they knew what it was, and when play continued because all the refs saw was it flying, and then it flew off it slid off the court. So I think that's why they said, and the ref may have known what it was and was thinking, well, we're going to play on because I don't want a lot of attention. I don't know, but
I don't think the refs' first thought was that was probably a sex toy when they were watching the play live action.
Look at the pickle.
So yeah, it really, yeah. The thing is, I'd really like, as I was reading the tweets about this isn't the first time this has happened in a professional sports game. Not too long ago in a Patriots game, somebody did it when Tom Brady was throwing a pass to somebody, like in the end zone.
The Bills are notorious for this. So, my first thought was, it was the game in Buffalo. But what constitutes a stoppage in play in the WNBA? I mean, if you can just throw, according to Greg, above average size phallics onto the court, that we don't know if it was turned off or not. And then the hazmat reaction to it, where it was like, can we touch it? We can't touch it. Let's get several towels and wrap it up.
I mean, I get that. I completely understand that.
Trust me. I'm not going barehanded and grabbing that thing. No. Mengelt, maybe. I don't know. He seems awfully enthusiastic about this. So
okay, I'm the female in the group, so I'll say this. What are the chances? Do you think that made it into the waste can somewhere?
Send it to the Naismith Hall of Fame, man. There you go. This thing deserves its own exhibit.
So I guess let's bring it back slightly to reasonable. Like, what is it saying about the WNBA that you have two events like this within a week, like back-to-back days even? Like,
don't you think the second event was triggered by the first? I think the second event was triggered by the first.
What do they have in common with it? What do they have in common at all?
Because of all the tweets after the first with the wait and the stoppage, and everybody saying soft and. You want to be like the NBA, but you don't want to be. You want to be paid like NBA players, but you don't want to be as tough or treated like them. And I just think that the second.
What does it have to do with the other thing? I can't think about throwing.
I mean, if anything, John, if anything, John, I think it's a fan trying to bring levity to a league that just doesn't seem to be able to laugh at itself.
Well, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Or just get out of its own way and harming its brand with some of the statements and the things that they do. They just, for a league that wants to be taken seriously, they don't do a very good job of marketing and things like that. I mean, they constantly do things that backtrack their progress. And they're need to be thankful for Caitlin Clark.
This league can't have fun. I mean, it cannot have, go back to the NBA. You have the NBA postgame show with Shaq and all these guys, and they're playing videos of teams farting on the bench and, laughing about it and,
Shaq did a fool.
Yeah. But, if Elle Duncan, who, I'm not an Elle Duncan fan, but I thought her line at the All-Star weekend was hilarious, where she said, it's like a girl's trip to Cancun. There's no D anywhere. The way people reacted to that, it was just so uptight, and they can't have fun, and they can't laugh at themselves. And that's part of the problem they have connecting with, a more casual fan base.
Exactly.
Indiana loves Caitlin Clark, so we've embraced Caitlin and the Fever. But for years prior to that, did anybody, I'm not going to speak, but yeah, Greg, you and I worked together. How often did we even put the Fever story in the newspaper?
I think the day they won the championship was probably the only time.
Wow, that's the bar. I get it. I understand because, I would go to a game every now and then because I have a daughter and she wanted to go, but I couldn't have told you too many players.
Right.
I could have told you Tamika Catchings.
Right, and I want to say that I am so glad that the franchise representatives of the Fever and this current Fever team do not get caught up in this nonsense.
Absolutely agree with that. And I just finished Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston's podcast earlier tonight, and they kind of touch on the things we're talking about right here. Candace Parker says...
Because they're obvious.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, Candace Parker said, Angel's really mad at Candace Parker right now for putting her in C tier or whatever. If you go back and watch it, if you haven't seen that news, it's a thing. But Candace says, I work in a studio with Shaq and with Charles and all these guys. When we're talking NBA, we have to be able to talk about bad play and say that they played bad. And we have to be able to say they're not living up to their expectations or when we're able to say it and we move on, and that's the way it is. And she said the WNBA has for so long, because they needed to be defended a little bit because people didn't care about them because they were women or whatever reason they would say. They've been so used to that for so long that now that they've got the eyes on it and the popularity and the casual fans, they need to be able to talk about their basketball like actual basketball. We need to be able to criticize when somebody doesn't play well, and people need to get over themselves and let that happen, and that's not what's happening. So it's causing problems. Right. I highly recommend you guys watch that podcast. I agree. I agreed with everything Candace Parker said on that podcast. I found myself just doing the hallelujah the whole time I was watching it, not actually out loud, but...
The one thing I've always liked about her, and even Lisa Leslie, as they've represented the WNBA through the years and different things, I feel like they've always brought truth. I'll tell you, and Candace Parker will tell you a lot of hers in the reality was because she played for a coach that never sugarcoated anything or anything like that, and made you be accountable.
Absolutely, it's such a unique league. I mean, let's face it, even though it's basketball, even though it's affiliated with the NBA. This is the only North American sports league where spouses play against each other or on the same team.
Yes, and that makes it. I said that last year. It makes it so awkward. But either way, it's still awkward.
Yes, it is.
It's awkward.
And the fact that the league,
never thought of it that way.
That out there and promote they're promoting the wrong. To me, they're promoting the wrong part.
But it leads to infighting. If you are not respecting somebody, if somebody was disrespecting your spouse, you're gonna be pissed off about it and treat them differently. So if you're playing a sport alongside somebody that you're married to or you live with, and you feel like they're being wronged, you're going to defend that person, and it's going to create, consternation. Yeah. And this is the only league where in North America that you have that. I think it leads back to some of what we said. There's an anger component to it that makes you not be able to laugh at yourself because you're upset and you're defending the honor of somebody that you care about.
I do want to point out that NASCAR once had people who were dating racing against each other.
Well,
but other than that,
Danica Patrick and who?
Ricky Stenhouse.
I just assumed you were going with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson there. So,
Oh, jeez. So, not even though just the like when you're on the same team or defend him. What about like when Dejanay Carrington and Melissa Smith were playing against each other in the playoffs and they're dating, right? Melissa had a terrible series. Now you can say that she just had a bad series, but also like doesn't that make you question whether she soft played against her spouse or her girlfriend?
Of course.
I want to say before anybody tries to cancel us, like we don't care who people date or what they're doing.
No, of course not.
I don't give a shit.
I know, yeah. I don't either. I just say, but we have to put that out there because there are the people that are going to say like we're being homophobes by saying, oh, that causes problems. But there's a lot of workplaces that don't let you work with your spouse because it causes problems, regardless of whether it's hetero or homosexual.
Well, you're right, and here's
Absolutely.
the thing.
That shouldn't have to be said, but it does.
So that's why here at the Central Indiana Sports Podcast, we keep it about sports. Let's talk about sports.
Right. Let's talk some sports, guys. We're moving to August, and the Fever play in Dallas. And, John, we talked about how important this stretch is, and so far they've taken advantage.
Yeah, I thought the Phoenix game was probably 60-40 Phoenix, and Fever proved me wrong. So good job, Fever. Aaliyah Boston said in their podcast with Candace Parker, she thinks they need to go 11-4. She thinks they're going to go for 11-4. She was not happy with splitting 50-50 on the games, and I said 11-4 sounds ambitious, but go for it. Like I would love to see it.
Well, they do play Minnesota 3 times left in the regular season.
Yeah, and Minnesota just got done playing New York, and they were I don't know what the final was. I think Minnesota won 93-100. So
yeah,
Minnesota looked good tonight. I think they're.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John. But did Stewie play? That's what I want to know. Because Stewie didn't play the other day.
No, I was going to say Stewart wasn't in. She was out. So that does affect the game, obviously. But, obviously New York and Minnesota are the 2 best teams. They're obviously the 2 best teams. It's like New York and Minnesota, and then there's, a gap, and then whoever you want to put in third. But
Indiana's beaten both those teams this year.
Yes,
agreed.
Well, they have a winning record against the 2 teams combined.
That was kind of going to be my next point. Is I really think that the league as a whole is closer than most people probably think. Now the bottom teams are pretty bad, but
I think the only 2 teams that you fear though are Minnesota and New York.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah, especially in a series. I think the Fever can go in and beat them in any game, any given day, but a series is going to be tough. I think they can do it, but it's going to be tough. Yeah.
I would give them the 3rd best odds.
Yeah, I will say this: Las Vegas, the Aces, and I know, John, that's you're not an Aces fan, and
good point.
I'm just a Jackie Young fan. But since the Becky Hammonds has tweaked her lineup and sat Jewel Lloyd, taking her out of the starting lineup, and has her coming off the bench, they've been playing much better.
Aces and Fever would be 3 and 4. Yeah, Aces and Fever would be 3 and 4.
Where are you going to put Seattle and Phoenix though? I feel like they're close.
Also Rans. They seem like also Rans to me.
I would maybe even put Seattle above Phoenix, even though Phoenix had a pretty hot run, but I think they're coming back to reality. Can we just say how happy we are that DeWanna Bonner got booed when she got announced and came into the game? Yeah, I was so happy that happened.
I can't wait till Miles Turner comes.
I know.
Yeah, but if somebody's ever earned it.
Last thing I want to mention is I know I said the Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston podcast is good. I listened to that one all the way through.
Aaliyah's fantastic, by the way. She's the best.
She navigated some really tricky questions, honestly, very well. Candace tried to get her to say who she would take over Angel Reese, and Aaliyah was just like, well, I guess we'll wait to see who the fans say in the chat or whatever. And I was like, that was well played. That's a
great answer.
But also came out today, Sophie Cunningham has a new podcast. I've only seen clips of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. But the clips I've seen are spectacular.
So after you listen to this one, go listen to those 2 podcasts.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Finish this one first.
But I really think if you're not a Sophie Cunningham fan now, you're going to be if you
Who
are
isn't
open.
a Sophie Cunningham fan now?
Well, I guess that's fair. People that aren't Sophie Cunningham fans now won't be anyway. But I'm starting to like her personality more and more and more every time I see something from her. I liked her to begin with, and I was like, she's cool.
My favorite, but it's getting close. Plus, she's easy to look at.
Well, she talks about the fight with Casey Sheldon.
Good.
And so, but like she also, JC, so yeah. Anyway, it's really good. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I like that the Fever are putting themselves out there kind of as the counter to the anti-Fever narrative. Like there's so many vocal anti-Fever things out there that I'm glad that they're putting themselves out there and answering some questions and being open and being real, but they're not. I didn't find anything they said offensive or toxic. I found it just so.
I love
like
the Fever team in spite of the league trying to lose me as a fan.
Hey,
That's fair.
Actively trying to lose me as a fan.
Hey, do we have to say one more thing? Like, welcome back, Cameron Brink, and did you watch her return, Hutsell?
Thank you. We made it 30 minutes into the podcast without discussing the biggest story of the week, and that's the return of Cameron Brink to my life. I didn't see her return, unfortunately. I was unable to watch, but you guys are, now that you guys are done with all your analytics and talking basketball and everything, I'm going to go back to being as superficial as I can be during comments. But what a wonderful addition to this late season WNBA roster. Welcome back, Cameron. Your talents are appreciated. Everything that our lives are about to be better because Cameron Brink is back a part of it. So again, welcome back.
I actually am happy she's back. I really am happy Cam's back because I felt bad for her when she got injured last season so early because I wanted to see what she could do. I felt like a lot of the negative fans who just can't let the league be successful. They didn't like her because she's pretty and tall and white, and I hope she's very successful.
I just cut the end of the podcast, which was probably the most inappropriate part of all, so sorry about all that. Man, that was so much fun. We laughed so much. Thank you so much to John Robertson, Michelle Garman, and Mike Hutsell for joining me. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with, honestly, I was going to say the Fever fans in your life, but just share it with anybody who likes to laugh. Please help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here and talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.